In this video, what we're going to do is look at formatting some numbers into currency and fixing a few perceived errors by Excel that you may have run into before. What you're seeing here is some data that I put up in here, some random numbers I put in here to demonstrate the min, the max, and average, and the count function. If you're interested in that, go ahead and watch that video in the fundamentals of, I believe it's functions fundamentals, min, max, average, count. I think that's the name of the video. You can search for that under the Excel videos. But on this one, we're not really going to look into that. We're going to actually look at how we can format this into something that's reasonable. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to move this data down. And the way we do that is highlight everything we want. And always remember, in Excel, everything you do has to be highlighted first. So whatever cell you're going to be working in or group of cells, you have to highlight them first. Then you perform the action. So I'm going to highlight all of these cells here. And I'm going to drag them. I'm going to move them. So I'm going to the edge. And then I'm going to move that down one. And now all of them moved. And so from here, I can actually add some titles here if I want it. Let's say if I would have just put up at the top. Now there is a easier way to do this. Let's say if I put January there and I drag this little box over here, you see it automatically knew that there would be a pattern there, and it automatically made this. Now I showed the little box before. There's a function, and it looks at patterns and frequencies of patterns, and it can duplicate that. Or if it was a pattern that was well known, let's say like the months, it'll automatically add those there for you. So now that I have that and it's still selected, I can change the font and do whatever I want with that. The other thing we want to now be able to understand is that a lot of these cells sometimes may have things in it that's larger than the cell can hold. And let's say if this was extra small and this was something like this, and I want to be able to resize these. The easiest way to resize it is to put your mouse in between the cells you want to resize and double click, and the cell will resize to the size of the items inside of the cell. And that goes also for the rows themselves. So now let's look at how we can actually change the currency, or change the numbers and the formatting of the numbers inside of these cells. So I want these to be currency. So I'm going to highlight all of these cells here, including the total. And I'm going to change the currency. Although I also want to change the currency of the min and the max here. And actually the average, I think I will go ahead and change that as well. So the way you do that, once you have everything selected, you hold Control down, and this is going to allow you, after you selected something, to select something that was separate from the first selection. So now if I go down here and I start selecting, as you can see, I still have both selected. If I were to do that without holding down Control, it would have deselected this and then selected this secondarily, or primarily. And then all we need to do is go to the Home tab, and over to the right you see this Numbers group, and in the Numbers group we can actually use the Accounting Number Format. If I would just click that, you can see here we have this Accounting Number Format, and now we have it in dollars and cents. Now, just for your information, if you click on this little arrow right here, you can change the type of currency that you want. So that will change. The other thing we want to look at here is these little green, you see those little green dots next to those numbers? Those green dots are actually it's saying that there's an error. And so you're going to want to fix this, because you really don't want people to think that there's errors in your code or errors in your sheets. So what this error is saying is that it's really saying that, hey, there's some numbers adjacent to the calculation that you probably should have. And basically what it's saying is that I'm missing some numbers, meaning it's looking at this total and it's saying that total is not calculated inside of this. But we don't want the total calculated inside of this minimum. So what we need to do is click on that little box and then go here to this warning. Click on the little arrow next to there, and we want to ignore that error. Now, I can do that for all of them at once by highlighting it and dragging it, and then clicking on it and ignore the error. And there we have that, it's done. And so that's how we can actually change the numbers into and format them into whichever currency we want. We can also go over here to the numbers group and do dates. We could do accounting, short dates, long dates, time, percentages, that sort of stuff.